Welcome to Independent Artist Network TV, where we end up spilling the beans on everything and talking about everything from A to Z. I hope you all are looking forward to it. We hope that you all end up joining us at some point because we'd love to have you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you're trying to get a, by the way, my name is Gloria Talley, and this is my partner,
Anton Scott.
Anton. You're frozen. There you go. Okay, there you go. You go.
It wasn't on mine.
Oh, okay. It's all good. It's all good. No, but anyway, so topic of discussion. What you want to talk about today?
Black mental health.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's a very serious subject.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Um, I've noticed that we have a tendency to fear accepting the fact that we may need some help. And so when it goes untreated, all kinds of bizarre things start happening in our lives. We can't handle the certain stressors that we have, and we can't handle the family members or friends or whomever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Depression is huge. People having depressive episodes, that's huge. Suicidal thoughts, it's huge.
Well, there's a thing in the Black community that we don't need help. We push it down and we keep going, and we, instead of getting help, we swallow it. We pray about it, and then we just keep going forward. Instead of going and getting the help we need. Like statistics are mind blowing. There are people walking around with PTSD that they don't even know they have PTSD. There are women that are raped from a child and grow up and wonder why they can't keep a relationship. There are boys that go through the same thing, but they don't want to speak about it because they don't want people to know they were raped. There are people that's in the streets, been in gangs, been in shootouts, been in all kind of wars. And when you go to the army and you do it for the government, they try to get you help before you come home. But if you don't take the help they give you when you get home, you're on the streets, you're homeless. And these things need to be talked about. Like, these people need help. These kids need help. I am so sick of hearing, you're a man, you're not supposed to cry. Says who?
Yeah.
Because a man has emotion, that doesn't make him a man? That makes no sense to me.
And quite honestly, speaking from a woman's perspective, I have to be honest. We want men to have emotional connections somewhere. You know what I mean? It's like, it's really hard because what it does, it kind of makes the female sometimes feel like they can't be themselves. They can't be vulnerable to them because the man is not vulnerable to the women. You know what I mean?
Right.
We don't see that as a sign of weakness. Matter of fact, we see that as a sign of strength and being human.
Well, your generation, the generation under 40, it's becoming a problem because they're called simps, they're called wimps, they're called pussy, they're called fake. If a man shows any kind of emotional, oh well, he's not hard. And let me tell you something. I know men who get emotional, and them are not the men you want to deal with. The niggas that's running around saying they too hard, or they don't have no emotions. Those are the ones that's sitting in their house crying at the end of the night when nobody's around. Those are the men that's killing themselves. The men that are crying and letting them emotions out are the men that'll kill for their family. Like, there's things I've been watching. These guys are going around with these nice cars and trying to catch gold diggers. And
oh yeah, I've seen that.
It amazes me that after the skit or the episode goes on, at the end when he calls the woman a gold digger, she gets upset. Well, where in your mind did it tell you, because the whole conversation was about money. You didn't ask him how he feels about life, how he feels about marriage, kids. What happened to, I want the American dream. I want a wife. I want a house. I want a dog. I want to picket a fence. I want my wife. I want my kids. Like, what happened to that?
I think what happened was that people got this attitude now, like what I want it right now. Like now. Like it's not,
nobody wants to work for anything.
No one, right. It's not about really gravitating toward a person because of, I mean, I know that the initial phase is always about physical. I know that, you know, the physicality is a big plus in the community. I get it. But at the same time, once you've gone through the physicality, then what happens next? What do you have in common with the individual? You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people, they need to take it back to where it used to be. I mean, this whole thing about not getting to know someone, not becoming friends first, just automatically going from, hey, how you doing, to, oh, baby, I love you. Then all of a sudden the 3 kids come and all of a sudden you got a broken home. And so at the end of the day, it's like, well, wait a minute. Where did you take the time out to get to know these individuals? Do you really check their vibes? Are they bringing you down? Is there negative feeling or their thoughts or whatever? Is that what's bringing you? Is that going to bring you down? I don't know. I just feel like a lot.
That part is what gets to me. Okay. So people are jumping out of relationships into relationships. That to me is a mental health problem, because where did you take the time to heal from the last one? Okay. Because I've been in a couple of relationships where the girl I was pursuing, or the girl I started dating, was in an abusive relationship before me. Okay. So me trying to show her that I'm not going to put my hands on her, I'm not going to, you know, put her through that. Then, you know, 6-8 months go down the line, we get in an argument, and the first thing she thinks is, I'm going to beat her up. Well, what makes you think that? If I haven't done it now, you know, you never took the time to heal yourself before you even tried to pursue something with me. So, I mean, why is it that if you do the research, 40% of whites go to therapy every once, twice, 3 times a week, only 25% of blacks, and the rest of that percentage is split up between Mexicans, Chinese, and other races. The therapists, it is 76.4% white therapists, only 4.1% black. That's
real. That's very real.
Crazy. That's crazy.
I can speak on that. That's very real, because as a person that has worked in the psychiatric field, I can honestly tell you per resident year, you may see 1 or 2 African Americans that will join in that residency for psychiatry, which is crazy to me, because we need more of us involved in that so that we can be able to. I'm gonna pause it. Okay. Go ahead. You were saying, Anton?
Why is it a white man can go out and shoot up a school and they say, well, you know, let's wait to kill him. Let's wait to see what his mental health is. But a black boy walk in with a hoodie to buy some Skittles and he gets smoked. And the first thing they do is put on a picture on the news of him holding a gun or something. But the white boy who went and shot up a school, they want to show him in a suit and tie in church. Like, the narrative is so backwards and so crazy.
It really is.
They give us no leeway. We've went through slavery. Our people have went through slavery. We never got our reparations for that. Um, the way the cops treat us in America is absolutely ridiculous. When I went to Puerto Rico, I thought the first time I went, I thought, I didn't know how to act. I didn't know how to maneuver until I got over there, and now that's home to me. Like the way they treated me over there was so refreshing. I didn't fear the police over there. I didn't fear going anywhere, and I could just be me. I could relax. I was at peace. I've never known that kind of peace anytime in America. No, it doesn't matter what city it was, from Chicago to Atlanta to Baltimore, Maryland to Louisville, Kentucky to Indiana. Like, you get these looks from these people.
For lack of a better word. Mm-hmm.
And you never know what they're thinking. You got to understand. Right now, I'm a 6'4", 420-pound black man. Okay. They don't know that I'm educated. They don't know what I've been through in my life. They don't know if I've been in the streets. They don't know if I've been to prison. But in my younger years, in my late 20s, early 30s, I was 6'4" and I was 600 and something pounds. And I cannot make this up. In Louisville, Kentucky, I cannot make this up. Anybody who's ever been with me knows if I got pulled over by the cops and they pulled me out of the car, they would make me get back in the car, and then 10 cops would pull up to pull me back out of the car. The only thing I've ever been arrested for was suspended license in marijuana.
That's crazy. And you know what? I'm gonna tell you something too, Anton. It's funny you should bring this up because I was looking at a video the other night here. And I mean, I would put it up here, but I don't have the rights to the video. But I was looking at a video the other night here, and I've noticed that now our own kind is beginning to become that way.
Falling in line. Yeah.
And I'm not understanding that. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm like, I would have, oh God, what was that video about? It was about, this thing broke my heart. It was this woman. I don't know if I sent it to you or not, but it was this woman that was in the emergency room, right? And she kept on going back and forth to the emergency room. Heavyset lady. She drank a little bit. She was an older lady. She goes up in there and she's telling them that she can't really breathe that well. So I don't know if it was due to the insurance, because we can talk about we could talk about that part too. That's crazy to me. But anyway, your insurance will dictate your
care. Absolutely,
it really does.
Yeah.
But anyway, she ended up. They ended up, I think, basically trying to handle, giving her like a breathing treatment, and then making sure that she uses her inhaler. They let her out. She stays at the hospital. She doesn't leave the premises. She stays there and she's crying for help. And people are walking by her, dismissing her, whatever the case may be. Then all of a sudden, these people and the people of the hospital end up calling security because they wanted to get rid of her. They felt like she was an eyesore to their hospital. So they're trying to get her away from the building altogether.
Can you imagine what that did to her mental?
Oh, honey, it gets worse. It gets worse. So all these police officers come up. It was a white lady. She was an older white lady. She was in a wheelchair, Anton. And all she was doing was asking for help. She kept on saying, I can't leave. I can't leave. My breathing is getting worse again. I can't breathe. Blah, blah, blah. They ended up, if you had seen the treatment that they gave this woman, they literally were trying to stuff her into a paddy wagon. Is a paddy wagon, the one that they showed, only had room for one person. This was a big lady. They were literally trying to stuff her in there. And she said, if you put me on my back, I'm not going to be able to breathe. They put her upright and forced her into this thing. And her poor little feet and everything were still dead. And they were literally trying to push her into it. Anyway, she kept on hollering and crying and saying, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. They ended up taking it from there. And it was like African-American, Caucasian, they were all there. And they were like talking mad stuff to her, like, oh, you can breathe. Oh, ain't nothing wrong with you. You would just see, they just discharged you. You're fine. Stop complaining, blah, blah. And this is all they were saying to her the whole time. Now I'm thinking, what is this doing to her mental health? You're right at this moment. But it gets worse. They stuff her into the back of a patrol car on her back. Mind you, she can't breathe because she has COPD and some other stuff. She can't breathe on her back. She's begging for an inhaler. They're telling her they went into her purse, everything. We can't find your inhaler. We don't believe you even have an inhaler. She kept on saying, my inhaler's in my back. I can't breathe. She started coughing, gasping, the whole nine. She was like, please. And they like literally stuffed her in the car, slammed the door on her. And she was kind of humped over and like up against her back. Well, this is where it all falls apart. She's up there. You hear her starting to wheeze. She's begging. She's screaming for them to please open the door to get her inhaler. They are laughing, talking mad stuff about her. Anyway, moments, you literally see this woman dying on the camera of the car, of the police car. And I will tell you this, the guy comes back, the police officer comes back just to do a quick checkup on her. Non-responsive. Gone. Dead. And that's what I'm talking about. It's like, I mean, even, mental health, it's like nobody has the love for people anymore. And it's like the mental health piece, when people are suffering, they're suffering. And you mean to tell me you can't love your neighbor enough to try to help them, to try to, at least say, okay, look, I'm not a psychiatrist. We're not psychiatrists, but at the end of the day, we care about you. We want you to live. We want to at least try to help you. So we can make referrals, try to get you to do, go get counseling, anything, talk therapy. But you don't have people that care about the mentally ill.
People don't care about people, not just the mentally ill. They don't care about they don't care about these kids. If you see all these kids in the streets, all these kids that really don't have real parents at home, and these kids ain't understanding why they're angry. They're not understanding why they feel like they got to go out and just shoot up everything. They're not understanding why these girls is out here so hyperly sexed that they feel like the only way somebody's going to love them is to have sex with them. It's fucking crazy.
And what's crazy about that is that like you talk about the women and stuff they do. Yeah, that's true. Some of them have been hurt as a child.
Yeah.
So a lot of that can lead to the manifestations of, say, hypersexuality, or maybe even hyposexuality.
Yeah.
The fact still remains, if you got people out there and they just jumping from one bed to the next bed to whomever, they're looking for something. There's something innately wrong here. Something, you missed something. Something was missed throughout your life. And now you're looking to these different strangers and different people and shooting up and getting into the drugs. Your whole life is literally imploding right in front of you because you choose not to get the help that you apparently need.
Okay, yes, some people choose not to get the help. Some people don't know there's help for them. And a lot of, like I said, I've heard a lot growing up. A lot of black people is, it's not that bad. So and so went through something way worse than that. You can get through this. Suck it up.
You can't compare trauma to someone else's trauma. You can't do that.
Our culture does.
I know. And that's what I'm saying.
Well, your grandfather had to walk 70 miles to school with no shoes on in the snow. You can go stand on the bus stop in the rain.
Right. The school bus.
What the fuck does that got to do with me standing on the truck stop in the rain? Like,
that has nothing to do with it.
Nothing. That had nothing to do with nothing.
And that goes back to what you said earlier about how parents will try to say, suck it up. It's not that serious. You're making a big deal out of nothing. Well, how do you know how serious it is to that person?
Right.
How do you know how it's affecting that?
And then if you're my parent and I'm coming to you and I'm telling you, hey, I'm having an issue with this, this, and this, don't dismiss me, because the next person I go to, if I go to somebody outside of you and they give me their advice and I go their way, now you're not happy. Mm-hmm. Now it's, well, why didn't you come to me? Well, I did come to you. I expressed this to you, and right. So now I'm on the wrong road because I went to this wrong person when I came to you. Mm-hmm. You was my safe place. Mm-hmm. But then it's, well, you're weak-minded. If I'm weak-minded, it's because you made me weak-minded.
Okay. And that's the whole point. That's it. It's like, it's crazy because it's like, and then sometimes parents are into their own issues more so than with their children. They're not paying attention to their children. They're not even paying attention to, like, the little small signals, the little small signs that say, okay, something is seriously wrong with my child.
Yeah.
Okay. You sit up there and all of a sudden the child that used to be outgoing and played all the time, now the child wants to start fights or doesn't want to be bothered with any other kids, or stays in their room all the time, stays on the computer all the time.
Not so talkative, not so happy, doesn't smile. Right. What happened? But you're not taking the time out of your lives and saying, okay, well, look, let's talk. Come on, sit down. We don't talk to our kids anymore. That's the biggest issue. I'll say this. I will say this. I am 44 years old. If it wasn't for my son, I would be dead today. I'm telling you. I know it for a fact. If it wasn't for him, for God giving me him and putting him in my life and making me change who I was, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you today. And it helps that I had a praying mother. It helps that when I was having mental issues, she got me help. So you can't tell me that. And I've been a lot of my family members and things. Well, why are you going to see a therapist? Why are you doing this? Well, so-and-so didn't. I don't care how you handled that. I needed help.
Yeah. And what's best for you. And that's the sad part. See, our families have just, and then on top of that, it's like, there's no, what's the word I'm looking for? Support system. There's no support. And it's like, you can clearly see your daughter or your son going through some stuff, and you're just leading your life as if none of that even matters.
So I watch these videos of these girls going to their parents and telling them, Uncle Johnny raped me. Girl, you're lying. Let me tell you something. Any kid that comes to me and tell me anything about somebody doing something to them, we're getting to the bottom of it. I'm not going to tell the kid they're lying. I promise you. I promise you. I don't give a fuck if it's Uncle Johnny, granddaddy so-and-so, grandmama so-and-so. You're going to see me. And until we get to the bottom of it, like, I just don't understand it. And then
Because let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, Anton, real quick. So it's funny that we're even talking about this part because you're talking about like SA. I know we can't really say it, but SA. And it's crazy to me because I'm actually watching this. There's a couple that I've been looking at. And they're claiming to have been SA'd. But yet you make fun of SA'd victims.
That makes no sense.
What happened to the compassion? Because if you went through that, shouldn't you have compassion for someone else that's going through that? Shouldn't you want to reach out? Shouldn't you want to help? Shouldn't you want to explain how you went through it, how you got through it, how you overcame it? You know what I'm saying? To help someone else. Shouldn't you want to feel that way?
I know.
They laugh.
It's crazy to me that in the 50s, the 60s, early 70s, mid 80s, the Black community was about building each other up. Since about the early 90s, it's all about destruction and self-destruction and turn us down. Once the government took the Black man out of the home, everything imploded. Everything. If people really want to sit down and do the research, once, giving food stamps and AFDC and all that stuff started coming into play, and more Black men started going to prison and not being in the home, and then drugs hit and crack hit and cocaine and all of this, and now here's my thing.
And then now the world's going to hell in a handbasket. It really is.
At this point, if you remember, if anybody does their research and knows when crack hit and cocaine hit, no Black person had a plane, a boat to get anything over here from Cuba or anywhere else. Y'all cannot tell me. Y'all think, well, Freeway Rick Ross became one of the biggest dope dealers because, he was friends with Pablo Escobar and he went over there and, man, cut the shit. Stop it. Like, there's so much going on and it makes no sense.
It doesn't. It really doesn't. But then we always sit back and we look at this stuff and we go, well, wonder, how did it happen? How did they become this way? Look at your own family and ask the same question. How did they become this way?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm not going to say that it's the parents' fault, but I can say this. A lot of the things that I have seen these young people are doing right now has a lot to do with the upbringing, has a lot to do with their support system.
Totally agree.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, so I understand, even if you got a 2-parent home, both parents may be out working, but when are you going to come back and take time out with your son and your daughter? You're letting everybody else raise your kids but yourself.
Right.
Because when you come, you know what I'm saying? It's like, when are you going to take the time out to talk? You're not going to know nothing that's going on in your child's lives because they are children. We already know children are secretive as all get out.
Yeah.
They keep secrets better than any adult does. Let's just put it out there.
Well, so my question is, but see, that's the thing. The world we live in now, there's so much technology and stuff. There's no secrets nowhere. There's so many cameras, everything. You can see everything.
You can see everything, but see, you got people that ignore the things that they're
saying. Absolutely.
That's where the problem. That's a problem.
That's a problem.
It's like, how do you ignore the cries of your child? How can you say, "Oh, I don't believe that happened"? What do you mean you don't believe that happened?
Now,
did you even take the time out?
You watch the news, and a 15-year-old boy gets killed. And the first thing the parents want to do is hop on the news. He was a good boy. He never done nothing wrong.
Was he?
But 45 people are standing here telling you the boy was out stealing cars.
Or he was shooting online.
Right, shooting up shit.
He was online, throwing guns, throwing this.
Right, talking crazy, throwing up gang sets. He done raped a couple girls.
But he's
he done shot a couple people. But he was a good boy though. He was just misunderstood.
Yeah, he was a good child. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
yeah.
Okay, I hear you. But the question is, what did you do to stop everything from happening, or to try to stop everything from taking the course that it took? What did you do?
Right, because you cannot tell me you don't see the transition in these kids. You cannot tell me from the birth of this kid to the age of 14, 15, 16 that you don't see the shift of where they're going, the people they're hanging out with, the way they're talking, the music they're listening to.
Well, think about okay, now I'm not going to listen to everybody. I'm not talking about every parent. I need to make this very clear. We're not talking about every parent is this way. Okay.
Right.
Well, we are talking about those that are this way.
Absolutely.
And there's got to be something that's got to be done, because at the end of the day, we're losing way too many young African Americans to the street life, to
daily,
gang life, every single day. You know what I'm saying? We could talk about it, but now the question is, what are we all as a community going to do to help slow this down? Because this is becoming a crisis now.
Right. And it's not just in VA. It's not just in Kentucky. It's not just in Chicago. It's everywhere.
Yeah, it's everywhere. I mean, because I sit up there and when you, oh my God, I don't even know if I told you about this. It's crazy when you're looking at Facebook and you get a notification. I'm gonna tell you, this is real life. You get a notification. So we deal with music, Anton. You know this. This is what we do. So we run into all kinds of personalities when it comes to the music life. Right. We find out that some of our musicians are severely depressed. We, just based upon their actions, the things that they do. Here's the example. Artist, beautiful, wonderful person. I mean, I even think that the person is a great person. They just got caught up in stuff. They didn't have the guidance that was necessary. Their parent is just as hardcore as a child has become, if that makes any sense. But anyway, the crazy thing is to get a notification. Now, you look at all these people on Facebook. I got thousands of followers on Facebook. You got thousands of followers. So we don't get to know everybody. But what we do know is that I know for me, when I got that notification, just so happened I knew the person. They were on that Facebook Live in their car with guns in their laps, pulling it up. You can hear them clicking it, click, 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 getting ready to do themselves in. They were literally getting ready. It took a friend of mine and myself, everything in our power, to keep them from doing. The mom wasn't on there. She wasn't trying to stop it. It was just two simple people that really were trying to stop. Some people going, do it. That's something that's totally.
See what I'm saying? Like that's another form of mental health. Who tells somebody to smoke themselves on Facebook Live? You're fucked up. You're fucked up in the head.
As if the person won't do it. They will do it. They will do it. Not understanding they know the repercussions of it, but not really, it's not clicking. You know what I'm saying? If you take yourself out, bro, you ain't coming. There may not be a coming back.
Ain't none.
To a point.
Some people don't know they have a way out. And some people go through a storm for so long they don't see the sunlight coming. and they give up, and they give up. Like well, it's bad now. It's been bad for months. Uh, my bills is getting behind. My kids ain't listening to me. My man is beating me up. Might have got STD. Who fucking knows? Anything could have happened. Anything. And now, will nobody else ever love me? Yada yada yada. Don't nobody care if I live or die. I might as well go and be gone.
People do it.
And that's not the case because you don't know what tomorrow holds for you.
And you don't know who's loving you and who isn't.
You don't
know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure that dude had no idea who was watching. I'm sure he thought everybody was watching. But what I'm saying is he didn't know that there were people on there that actually cared about his welfare. And we're screaming through I will be honest, I was screaming through the computer. Literally. So finally I said, you know what? I'm picking up the phone. I called him. And I didn't care. We were online, whatever. I called. I was like, what are you doing? I mean, so that's the part and to try to talk someone out of hurting themselves, that's trauma in itself for someone who's actually trying to help someone.
Right.
So I know I'm going to need somebody else to talk to about the trauma that I just witnessed.
Right, because even let's say you had that conversation and it wasn't enough.
What if he had done it right there?
Right then.
I was talking to him. Who would I have blamed?
Yourself.
I'm going to blame me because I felt like I didn't do enough. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's the piece that I'm talking about. It's like, before it gets that way, before it gets that far, before you start feeling like the end of the world is here, before you start feeling like ain't nothing I can do, or before you start feeling like no one loves me, you'd be surprised at people. People don't have to know you to care. It's the ones that are telling you to do it. Or the ones that are telling you, I'd go kick this person's butt or whatever the case may be. It's those people you need to just ward yourself away from. Get away from that. We know, you and I know some things. You know what I'm saying? That makes us scratch our head. Be like, what? Yeah. Because it's like we've tried, how we are. We don't just, when we work with an artist, it ain't just about music. It's about the overall artist. Whether we dealing with your legal person, your legal name, or whether we dealing with your stage name.
Right.
We're going to actually be that ear. We let you talk. We let you get it out. No, we can't always say we can save you from whatever, but we can definitely help you go in the right direction.
Right.
Question is, will you listen?
Right. Will you listen? Will you go and get the help that you need to get? If we point you in the right direction, if we bring the person to you to get the help, because I know a 19-year-old, okay, and she's lived a pretty privileged life, and she's been through some things. She's been shot twice and 2 different separate occasions, but I'm not going to say she's from a wealthy family, but they've never really been through a struggle. And she wants to be in the streets. She wants to be with killers and drug dealers and all this. And, I sat and talked with her one day and I was like, you don't have to be in this lane. You're smarter than this. You can take a different road. Right. You don't have to worry about being in shootouts and things like that. You can go and get help on your arm and whatnot. Can't nobody help me. What do you mean can't nobody help you?
Well, I can't help. How about she helping herself?
She said she couldn't even do that. I said, what do you mean? And like at that point, the conversation kind of came to a standstill because she couldn't explain it. I said, because I told you, I love you as a person. I love you.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take you to get the help you need. I'll get you where you need to go. Because I love you. In one area, out the other.
And that's because honestly, Anton, at that point, you can tell that they really don't care about themselves.
Not
I
only do
don't
they not
know
care
what
about it,
led
a
it.
person like that doesn't care about themselves or care about anybody around them.
But see,
Nobody.
what's crazy is like, okay, without going into too much detail, and maybe one day I will tell my story. I don't know when, but maybe one day. But what I do know is all the stuff that I know that I dealt with in my life, it really came down to making a decision. It really
Right.
came down to saying, okay, am I tired of this? Do I want to keep going until something happens to me? Do I want to feel like I'm doing anything? I mean, am I doing anything to try to help myself?
Right.
Am I only accepting the bull crap that I've been allowing? You know, it comes
Right.
to a point, like you said it was your son. I got 3 of them. And it took my first child. No, it didn't. It took my second child. Well, both of them. The first one I could feel myself it was the first child. My first child, I realized all the crap that I was doing. It was like I knew I wasn't living right. I knew I was doing things that I wasn't supposed to do. I was starting up stuff that I wasn't supposed to start. I was just basically existing. Let me just put that out there. I was existing. And all of it had to do a lot with childhood trauma and all that kind of stuff, not really dealing with that. Just going from one stage of my life into the next stage, not helping that situation.
Right.
And all I wanted to do was feel sorry for myself. All I wanted to do, oh, woe is me. It's everybody else's fault. It's not mine. But then when you really take a gander, when my son came, I realized who it was. At that moment, I knew who it was. And then to raise my son and to see similarities with myself and my son, I now know how to help my son.
Right.
You
Right.
get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It's like, because no parent, I can't say this. I know I, as a parent,
Right.
don't want my child to go through what I went through. You know what I'm saying? I don't
Absolutely.
want them to have
And
to experience.
okay, so that's the thing. Any real parent wouldn't want their kid to travel the same road they went down. They wouldn't.
Just
And
let me say,
if you can sit here and be like, well, I went down this road, my kid will be okay. You can
not
cut it out.
necessarily.
You can cut it out.
Listen, my parents didn't change me. My family members, they didn't change me. I really had to look at me. I had to change me. And I think that's where we all get. Yes, my mom prayed a lot. I will not deny it. I'm not going to say that didn't help, because I'm sure it did. Behind the scenes, I didn't know she was praying. I just know that that's who she was. But at the end of the day, it was like, I really had to look at me. It was me.
Right.
All this time. You can beg, Glow, you need to change. Glow, you got to stop doing it. Glow. Only I know. But when you get yourself in positions where you feel like there is no way out, and you realize, wait a minute, I don't want to be always looking over my shoulder. I want to feel like I can walk out and laugh and jokes. Look, if it means looking at a cop, hey, what's going on? I want to feel like I can do that.
Right.
I didn't want to feel like I got to hide from everything.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, I'm literally hiding from me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, my children, they changed my world. They changed my world. But you got family members out there, baby, that don't even help.
Let me tell you something. So, like I said, I give the credit to my son every day, because I am a kid that didn't expect to see the age of 21. So for me to be knocking on 45, it's only through God. It's only through the Most High, for real.
Yeah.
I didn't care about myself. I didn't care about hell. I felt that my son didn't come till I was in my mid-20s. And at that point, I felt like everything I wanted to do in life, I done done it. what was left? I mean, and then it's like the Most High told me, it's time for you to sit down. I'm about to show you. I'm gonna show you. And the first time I held him, it wasn't me fighting just to fight anymore. It was me fighting to protect him. And I grew up without a father. My mom did everything for me and my sister by herself with no help from nobody, family members, any of that. And I didn't have all the Jordans growing up. I didn't have the best clothes growing up, but my mama did the damn thing.
There you go.
And she got me grown. She got me here, and I'll never take anything away from her. Mm-hmm. But I had my own mental issues. I had a problem with my father not being there. I was angry. And I fought a lot. I fought a lot. And, coming from New Orleans to Louisville and being in these schools and everything, I don't remember New Orleans, a lot of it anyway, because I was so young when my mom brought us back to Louisville, where she was from. And my father stayed in New Orleans. He died, and kids are vicious, and the things they say to other kids are fucking outrageous. You go to a dance or something, or a father daughter dance, or a mother son dance, or whatever, and you don't have that parent there, and then the next day, well, your father whoop-de-whoops, that's your ass. And then they wondering why you're fighting all the time. And well, there's a school down here. It used to be called Buttrell. Mm-hmm. And that's where all the kids that fought all the time and they wanted to send me there. Mm-hmm. And my mama was like, nah, y'all not sending them there. We'll find another school to send them to, but y'all not sending them there. A lot of kids that I hung out with at that time are either in prison or dead right now.
Yeah.
I am one of the last few walking this earth right now that of people I used to hang out with. Mm-hmm. When I says that does something to my mental, because even though me and some of these people fell out, I love these people. These were my brothers. These were my sisters. These were, when I was in the streets and doing things I wasn't supposed to, these are the people that was by my side. Mm-hmm. And to lose them, it fucked with me mentally.
It does.
So for me to sit here today as a father who's went through a divorce, wants to get married again, have helped other people raise their kids, I'm glad my son didn't take to the streets like I did. Mm-hmm. I'm glad that he would rather sit in the house to play video games than be out in the streets killing shit.
Yeah. Yep. Hold on one second, okay? And we're back. All right, Anton, I know you were talking about, things, how it was affecting you in terms of your, the relative friends and stuff, and how you're basically the person that survived.
I mean, it bothers me sometimes now, even now today. There is a thing of survivor's remorse, survivor's guilt. Yes. And, even though I couldn't stop them from their choices, some of them I wish I could have helped. I know I can't save everybody. I get it. And I know we all have our days to go. I get that also. But it hurts when you get close to somebody and you see them go down the wrong path. And, I can't say that I'm on the right path, because I don't know what God's got for me. I don't know what storms I'm gonna go through in the next 2 weeks or whatever. I just know I'm trying to make better decisions as a grown man today. My fiance, the woman,
I was just thinking, I think that's where, you know, a lot of us who've committed themselves to change, let's put it that way. I think we all feel that way. You know, it's interesting. I was listening to you, you were talking about your friends and how they, you know, either locked up or God forbid something has happened to them. I was just thinking about my brother. I don't think I've ever shared that. But talk about mental health. To be a 12-year-old and discovering your brother on the floor dead, that was trauma in itself. And all of it was based upon the fact that it was a decision that he made. There were the decisions that he made. It was crazy because Anton, he was only 19, exceptionally smart. He was skipped in high school, graduated at 16. He was going to a college in Richmond, Virginia. He was on the football team. He was a singing fool. And all he did was hook up with the wrong crowd. Went out one weekend on school break. And when he came back, I knew something was wrong. Everybody else knew something was wrong, but no one really did a lot to fight that problem. So I literally witnessed the death of my brother.
That's crazy.
And that was traumatic for me as a child. And I fought that. Like, I literally, oh my God, the anger was real. It was real. Like, I never have ever, I didn't realize, like, really sitting back thinking about it. I was so mad and angry.
Right.
And then it was like, I think for me, you know, being 12 at the time, and you're begging your family to take them to the hospital, take them to the hospital, take them to the hospital, and they totally ignore you. That was the traumatic piece. That was the part.
Right.
And I kind of feel like there was a point in my life where I just couldn't forgive anybody for what happened to them. And so that was a big thing. I mean, you know, and trauma was real. To wake up, not even wake up, but just to hear someone fall on the floor, and then you walk to see what's going on, and there it is. You know? So yeah, I mean, they come in all forms, fashions, or whatever, but I could have easily, and I did. At that point, it was like from there, it was from anger. From anger, I went into experimentations. You get my point? Experimenting, because I felt like, you know what? I'm going to be here forever. It don't really matter. I'm angry. I'm mad. I'm going to do whatever the hell I want. I'm going to fight. I'm going to argue. I'm going to get my point across. I was just the most difficult teenager. And it literally bled into my first year in college. And then at that point, I ended up meeting someone, and I ended up getting married and had children. I had one child. That child literally started the process of me getting it back together. Like, literally. Because all I could think about was, Anton, I don't want my child to ever go through that. I don't want him to ever experience that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If he does, just know that I've been through it. Let me go ahead and help you as much as I can. But whatever I can't do, trust me, I'm going to suggest getting the help that is necessary. Because if someone had just said that to me, Glow, why don't you go get some counseling? I would have done it. Initially.
I wasn't so easy. I kind of fought against this. I don't know who this person is. Why would I tell this person my problems? You know, But then my mom sat me down and she talked to me, and she was like, it's time. It's time for you to get your shit together. You're either going to get it together or you're going to ship out. And
you know what my mom told me that time? You know what my mom told me?
What's that?
I will never forget this. This is like it happened yesterday. And I think I've carried it with me throughout my entire life now. I remember my mom and I in the kitchen. And my grandfather and my father were sitting at the table. They were having dinner. And I got mad about something. So I threw a daggone hissy. That was, like I said, I was literally uncontrollable. My anger was on 1,000. So I would just get angry at the silliest stuff. So I went off and everything. And my mom looked at me. She said, Gloria. And I stopped dead in my tracks. She said, let me tell you something. She said, either you're going to end up killing someone or someone's going to end up killing you. That was the moment. That was the moment. That was the moment. Because the more I thought about it, I was like, you know what? My mouth is way slick. Okay.
Right.
And yes, I would fight at the drop of a dime. Like, you say something wrong, I'm ready to go in on you. I remember pushing people down steps. But at the same time, I'm sitting there going like, and I didn't think anything was wrong with me. It was her. When she used those words, that phrase, something about that phrase cut all the way through me. And I was like, you're right. Either I'm going to mess up somebody or somebody. And I really thought it was going to be messing up somebody. So at the end of the day, yeah, my son comes along. My whole world had to change. I had to change me. And that's the thing. So it's like I hear people, they go through their trauma, they go through their drama. I get it. But I swear you cannot sit there and not talk about it. You can't sit there and go through it and not have anyone that you can reach out to and at least talk to. Because
it'll weigh at you like a cancer.
Yeah. It's only going to get worse and worse and worse until you face the issue itself. That's the only way you get through it.
A lot of people don't want to face themselves because they don't want to admit that they're wrong.
They're scared of also what they see.
It's hard looking in that mirror. It's hard.
Michael Jackson said it best. Start with the man in the mirror. If you want to make that change, right?
Yeah.
And that's real talk. That's for real. That's for real. And it's like nobody can change you but you.
Right.
And that's the we got people that we are dealing with ourselves that we know about.
Yeah.
How long you plan on being? How long does that individual plan on taking this particular path?
Right.
When does it end?
Right.
Does it end with your life, or does it end with someone else's life?
When does the person realize that everybody is seeing through your lies, that everybody can really see who you really are? When are you going to stop the bullshit? When are you going to help yourself?
Stop being Mr. Tough Girl, or is it Miss Tough Girl or Mr. Tough Guy?
Right.
Like, that doesn't impress people. I don't know about you or whatever, but I know it sure don't impress me.
No.
Because honey, I used to be as crazy as they are.
Or worse.
I did it again. Sorry.
Yeah, fell off. Well, Lord, Jesus. I mean, it's wild that, I'll tell you this, especially being in the music industry and what I've noticed, the really great ones, the really lyrical, the really talented artists are the ones with the most mental health problems.
That's what makes them so great.
That's crazy. That's
what really makes
and
great.
And that is what makes them great. And not only that, they really don't see, but them doing music is a form of therapy.
It's a beautiful form of therapy.
Right.
Because it really makes you look where? In the mirror. Because a lot of times when you're making up these songs or these lyrics, and you're expressing yourself, you're talking about your own self. You're not talking about everybody else.
Right.
I know when I used to write, excuse me, it wasn't about what everybody else was going through. It was about what I was going through. My love songs were about my love stories.
Right.
Or my Get 'em Got 'em Good song was about my Get 'em Got 'em Good stories. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I mean? I can only write for Glow. I couldn't write, you know what I'm saying? So even if I were to write for someone else, honestly, I'm using my story to write for someone else. So yes, you're talented. Your most talented artists are the ones who are going through mental health issues.
Yes, the songs you listen to that grabs you emotionally, these are the artists that are going and have some of the same demons you're going through, which is why the songs are grabbing you the way they're grabbing you.
That's what it is. That's what it is. No way, you know. Now the question is, what are you going to do with that? Now that you know that that's an issue for you, like you know that you're one of those people that have mental issues, some mental. I'm sorry, you might be fighting depression or whatever the case. What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
That's the whole thing I'm talking about. Some people are comfortable in their demons.
See,
they're scared to come out of that closet. They're scared to come out of that form. They don't want to get better because they've been in it so long.
It's their way of life.
Right. And they don't want to know different. I've talked to people and they're like, you know, I'm just used to being in toxic relationships, so that's what I gear myself toward. Or for some reason, every time I pick a person to be with, we end up being toxic.
That's because the
person, right, the person that really loves you, the person that, you know, will be good for you, you close the door on that person, and then you go to the same type of person that hurt you 2 weeks ago.
But then you want to make phone calls and go, oh my God, I went through this, I went through that. Well, you know, had you chose the other person instead of this individual, you might not have been going through.
Well, he was boring. He had a 9 to 5. He didn't have enough time for me. I have heard so many whack ass excuses. It makes no sense.
But at the end of the day,
but you like the bad boys. You like the drug dealers. You like the street niggas. You like the shooters.
Yo, I've even heard women, like, I'm so serious. Like, I was gonna be like, why you want blah, blah, blah. I like men rough around the edges. Okay, that's cool.
That's fine.
That's fine.
But you get what you get.
Don't be mad now. Them rough edges rub off on you, and then your tail's getting worn out, and you're wondering why. Then you got this mentality of thinking, "Oh my God, that's how they love me." Okay.
Oh, that's the one right there. That's how he shows me he loves me. He smacks me around.
Child.
Somebody call Dr. Phil. So listen.
Dr. Phil, I don't even know Dr. Phil know what Dr. Phil talk. I mean, no disrespect, Dr. Phil. God bless you. Do your thing, brother. Do your thing. I'm so sorry. But let's just be real, okay?
Right.
You know, at the end of the day, it's like, no, some people ask for it. I mean, I hate to say it, but it's the truth. It's like,
that's asinine. But then, you know, they're because everybody's life, it comes to a point, okay? They're in everybody's life. I don't care who you are. I don't care how old you are. Eventually, God will send that person and he'll be right in your face. Hey, I work a 9 to 5. I have no kids. I'm trying to court you. You
Like
know,
boring.
right, right, anything, you know. And then because I don't fault people for having a lot of kids. You
No.
know, yes, I only have one biologically myself, but I've been with women that got multiple
Multiple
kids,
children. Right, right.
and that doesn't bother me.
Uh-huh.
And you know, it's like we have to start doing better and making better decisions on who we lay down and have a baby with, because a lot of people are having just babies with anybody. But if you had a baby with this dude and you know he's not taking care of the 9 other ones he got around the corner, what makes you think he's going to do the same with you? Like he's going to be better with you because his track record. You listen. I don't know what to tell you. But then
But they
not
feel like they're
everybody is made
different.
for everybody.
They
Huh?
think that they're different. So those people that you're talking about, those women think that they're different. They feel like, oh, he may not taking care of the mother children, but he gonna definitely help me with mine because he told me he gonna do that. Well, don't you think he told them the same thing?
Right.
I think
It's I think it's wild too. Right. Like it's you know, and then I'm scared for the kids nowadays because back in my day when I was growing up, you had to have game. You had to get a woman to have sex with you. You had to have money. You had to have charisma, swag, charm. You had to have something. Nowadays, and mind you, I've been in clubs. I done seen it. I done seen it happen. I have watched girls walk up to dudes and be like, "Hey, come around this corner. Let me top you off." What?
I seen it.
It's that simple?
Anton, I saw it. Like, I remember this club I went to one night, and we were walking along. I mean, you know, I done seen a lot of shit in my life, but this right here took the cake. I walked by, I heard something over in the bushes like area. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was at the club. So I was like, so I happened to look because I'm a nosy anyway. I'm just a nosy person anyway. And so I happened to look and I saw the dude and the girl. Girl was bent over. Dude was getting it. I mean, we talking about getting it. So I'm thinking to myself, what made them think that it was okay to be out here in public, by a building, getting it in like that? But then
Listen.
You get mad when someone talk mess about you, right? You gonna get mad, you get called a certain name, right?
Right. Then you in your feelings, you fuck around and get something Ajax can't take off. Now you in your feelings. But you done been out here throwing it to every Tom, Dick, and Harry that walks around.
Don't be mad. Don't
Let me
be
tell you
mad.
something. If the guys and girls was this way when I was younger, oh yeah. Call it rap. I'd have had 50 kids by now.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like those are the things that I'm looking at. It's like you gotta love. Again, it goes back to self-love. You don't think you hold up. Question. This young lady that I saw with the dude.
Okay.
You mean to sit there and tell me
you ain't worth a bed?
You're beautiful enough not to
get taken home, to a hotel, to
anywhere, but
anywhere.
Beside a building,
in front of everybody. In the bushes.
You mean to tell me you don't love yourself enough for real? Is that crazy? Stop it.
Listen. I cannot make this up. I have worked in clubs where I have had to walk in the bathroom and get people to stop doing things. I've worked. I worked at this one club. It was called Jillian's, and downstairs upstairs was Jillian's, downstairs was called Atlas, and upstairs they had a little game room. Okay, and I literally had to go and put these people out because in the video game that you sit in and shoot shit, it was up. Like they was on it, and People were standing around watching.
What does that say about
you might as well go to San Diego and make a fucking movie.
What does that say about the people that are standing there and watching it and not even doing anything?
Well, I mean, you got to understand there are,
I guess that's entertainment.
Voyeurism, and you know, some people are into that.
That's a thing. That is
a thing.
Y'all excuse me, I'm hungry.
I mean, you know, it just depends on your mental and everything and how you feel about yourself. And
what makes a woman say it's okay to screw me at the door of a club? What makes it okay?
Let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell you this. I don't give a fuck who says what. A man cannot wake up and be like, you know what? I'm gonna go outside and I'm gonna fuck today. Every woman can get up and say, you know what? I'm gonna have sex today, whether it's a man or a woman. It doesn't matter. Men can say that. Oh, I can have any woman I want. Bro, if the woman says no, unless you rape her, it's a no-go. Whether she's a thought, whether she's a hoe, it doesn't matter. A man really doesn't have the right to say that. But a woman, because she can go anywhere. It could be an ugly dude, a fat dude, a skinny dude, a tall dude. It doesn't matter.
That's very true. I will not deny it. That's very true. But what's crazy to me is like, again, we're going to go back to that first thing that we talked about, the self-esteem issue. You don't give a damn about yourself.
Right.
Because nobody that loves themselves would put themselves in that position to be seen by strangers or to be dealt with by strangers. And what the hell is it all for? What is it for?
That is something I couldn't answer. I have no idea.
Maybe one day we'll find somebody we can talk to about that. But in the meantime, listen, I know we got to close out. We've been on here for over an hour, and it's been a great conversation, and I can't wait to do this again.
Absolutely.
Yes, nice. And we definitely would love to bring people up on here, and they're welcome to get involved in the conversation. It's not a problem. We love to have you. But in the meantime, we just thought we would go ahead and put our thoughts out there. If you can agree, great.
Or disagree.
Agree, great. We love you anyway. But in the meantime, we do want to tell you it's important. Mental health awareness is so important to
absolutely
everyone, okay? And I can't stress that enough. So if you find yourself in a position where you're feeling bad or you're hurting, you know, there are things that you can do. There are people you can contact. So I want to make sure that I can put this number out because hold on one second. I figure, you know, there used to be this long drawn out number. Now there's only 3.
That's crazy.
The number is 988. Help is available. If you need someone to talk to about anything that's going on in your life, these people are trained specialists that are there to listen. So again, that number is 988. And if you want to know the 800 number, give me a second. I'm going to give. Anyway, this is a 24/7, 24-hour, 7-day a week, free and confidential support for anyone that needs some help. 988. And let me see if I can get that 800 number just in case. No, they've definitely slowed it. It's no longer the 800 numbers. It is now just simply 988. Okay. I hope this broadcast helped. Anton, you got any last words you would like to leave?
Everybody take care of your mental health. If you can't talk to the people around you, reach out to somebody. Hell, hit the email. If I got to talk to you through email or something, hit us, because there's always somebody who will listen. You're never alone. I know a lot of people think you're alone. You are not alone. You are not the only person who is going through something. Everybody goes through storms, whether you think so or not.
And what's even crazier is that if you allow yourself to open up to somebody, it can be a stranger. That's cool. Matter of fact, that might be even best. But
it might be.
It is, you know what I'm saying? Because they don't know you from a can of worms. So they can't judge you or make you feel like you're being judged. The thing of it is, take that time out. Call 988 if you need someone. Don't be afraid. You'd be surprised at the stories that people can tell. Really talk to people, because it may be something that you're going through that they've already gone through, and they may be able to help you.
There's nothing new on this earth. Nothing.
And ain't no problem greater than the next. So that's the most important piece. Do not feel like someone else's issues are worse than your issues. Don't let anyone ever tell you that, because that is not true. No one knows how your issues are affecting you and your psyche.
Absolutely. And your feelings do matter.
Your feelings matter big time. So you got to believe that. You got to own that, and you got to carry that with you, and you got to love yourself.
Absolutely.
Okay. I don't think I have anything else to say, Anton. I just want to let everybody know that we are behind the mic, raw and uncut.
Yeah, have a good night.
All right. Good night.